Hello there. My name is Mark, aka the Canadian Jedi, and this is episode 92 of the Holocron Chronicles. We took a little break, so it's good to be back, and I'm joined, as always, by my trusty co-pilot through this galaxy, Charlie Mother Flippin' Carden. How you doing?
My reputation sideways me. I'm good. Yeah, we had our little summer hiatus break. We wrapped up the Alkalite. I missed that last conversation, but we were going to do it tonight, but we had a big news week, and so we're going to push that to next time. But we also have this great special guest, an associate of mine, one of these people like, I met this person on the internet, which sounds terrible and scary. And our person knows that because she's involved in terrible, scary internet things for a living. But this is Joe Colton from the Washington, D.C. area. We actually met in person on the Star Trek cruise earlier this year. I met her and her whole crew after having known her on the internet for many years. Joe, it's and this is your second time on an SSU podcast because you've been on with Extra and me. What did we talk about when we did that? I can't remember now.
I don't know.
I know, me neither. It's bad.
A memorable episode, no doubt.
We record.
Oh, Deadpool. We did Deadpool.
We did Deadpool 1 when we were for the Summer of X. Yeah, gotcha. Good deal. Yeah. But anyway, you are a super multi-faceted fan of everything.
Yes.
And we will get to your introduction in a second, but I got to pay some bills because I it's my job, no matter where I go, to talk about our awesome Secret Friends Unite Patreon squad over at patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. Try us out for 7 days for free. Tons of awesome extra content. Bonus this, bonus that. Ad-free versions of the show, early versions of the show. And there's a ton of different options. So we would love to have you on board just to kind of try us out for that first 7-day period. On our Friends with Benefits level, John, we might need to update this because we have new tiers and stuff, but I'm going to wing it. John Sedorf, the Awesome Phoenix Sisters Entertainment. That's my friend Kelly and her partner Crayley. Brendan Myers, Matthew Keel, and Corey in HD. And on our new, what are we calling our super tier now? The Secret Friends Super Squad? That's what the Nias family is now.
I think so. We
got to update our notes. We're bad. But that's Sean, Stella, and Henry Nias, close personal friends of Todd's out there in the Twin Cities. And Sean was with us when we did our big Patreon cast last week. Yeah. So that's tons of fun. So we're very grateful to all those folks. Once again, patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. 7 days for free. We'd love to have you on board. All right. And we're also over on YouTube. That's another great place to see our wares. So come check us out. Rate and subscribe us no matter where you go. It does help the show out, and we greatly appreciate it. All right, done paying the bills. Mark, back to you.
Thank you. It's like Charlie said. It's always nice to help us out in any way. It doesn't matter if it's financially or just sharing the show, subscribing, whatever it is. Tell a friend. That is awesome. So if you can't throw a buck our way, do that, and it helps us out just as much. Just getting the show out there to new people. So anything is appreciated. But now let's get to our special guest, Joe. First off, do you want to introduce, like Charlie kind of gave you a little introduction of you're a Star Trek fan, obviously.
Yes.
He knows you from the internet. What kind of content do you do on the internet for people that might not be familiar?
So I started out doing G.I. Joe costumes, and then moved on to Star Trek, Dread, Doctor Who, Wonder Woman, DC, Marvel, and then just kind of do everything. My latest ones that I've done are Jean Grey from X-Men, Lilith from Diablo 4. I'm working on a Gozer from Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I will be unveiling at Dragon Con in a few weeks. So
awesome.
Nice.
That one's going to be badass, I'm sure.
Yeah, I did Mira's ball gown from Aquaman, the glowing.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I
Fantastic.
do a lot of like I do cosplay, and I was on a What's on Joe Mind podcast, which was a podcast for GI Joe. And then I was the CO for The Finest, which is a GI Joe costume club, and we did a lot of charity work.
Nice.
And I did that for 10 years and was completely burned out after that, and
I was
got
in the
married, and
same
then had to
spot.
focus on baby stuff. So now,
Yeah.
I have a baby, and
Yeah.
it's taking up a lot of my time. So, but
They
yeah,
do
I love
Babies.
doing
Yeah.
podcasts. It just has to.
No, this is good, and as I've intimated, I love the GI Joe stuff. I'd love to draw
Yes.
you back in. I would love to brainstorm, find a project that we could do that you wouldn't find like, oh, we're talking about the same shit 50,000 times over and over again. So
Yes.
all things a good time. But yeah, you're a welcome addition to our little family.
Thank
We're
you.
very happy
I'm
to have
excited.
you. Yeah,
So
cool.
the mirror cosplay, I'm going to sidebar for like 2 seconds because I've been very excited. I've been printing chainmail armor to add
Yes.
to my Mandalorian like OC armor. So I'm doing like chainmail on the sides. And I 3D printed it all. And I was like, this actually worked. It's actually flexible. It
Nice.
prints all in place. It's all linked together like chainmail should be. So I think like my next one, I kind of want to do like an Aquaman. I already have the trident. I'm like, I want to do like a full chainmail.
You should try the foam
or
3D
something.
printing. That way it's flexible and light.
Ooh,
maybe.
Little collab habit. Hey,
Like a
she's
pet
closer to
peeve
you
out
than
of,
she is to me.
thing.
She lives in DC, so it's a short trip, right? Down there from CBI. I know nothing from Canada is close.
That's so far away.
Yeah, driveways. I think that's a day. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, it's probably like
nonstop
15,
driving.
16-hour drive.
Yeah,
That's at
that's
least,
about how
yeah.
long it would take for me to get to you, Mark, is like 24 hours. I think if I was to drive.
Yeah, I just assume that I'm at least
10, 12 hours to go to Toronto, depending on the border crossing. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah, I'm a
goodness.
good like 22-hour drive away from Toronto. So like
Yeah.
depending on which way you go, I'd have to map it all out.
So
but like,
far.
yeah,
It's probably a
I'm
day
in the
for me
middle
to
of
drive
nowhere.
you.
I'm just in Atlantis. That's it.
That's great.
Exactly correct. It was good stuff.
Yeah. So let's get to know you a little bit more on the Star Wars side of things. And I want to like hopefully at the end of the show, people will be able to follow you. We'll tell people where to follow, and they'll be in the show notes anyway, so people will just be able to click it and follow all the stuff that you do. But for right now, let's get into first off, just how did you get into Star Wars?
So I don't remember this, but apparently when I was like 5 years old, I was obsessed with C-3PO and R2-D2.
They're very likable.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had like a bag of them. I had like toys. I was like completely obsessed with them. And then like, I guess that went away and I rediscovered Star Wars. I watched the original trilogy a lot, but yeah, nothing retained. And then I rediscovered it into my like 20s and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then watched obviously the prequels and the 7, 8, 9. So
Yeah.
it's good.
We'll just keep our focus on the original trilogy. The bag full of R2-D2 and C-3PO, carrying them around in a sack like they were marbles or something. I kind of like that visual. That works for me.
There's something about the droids though, like Star Wars droids. Like I have a 4-year-old and he is crazy about the droids. He's
I don't know.
He likes the like the new cartoon, like the Young Jedi Adventures, and I just got him a couple of the figures with like spaceships and stuff, and he likes any kind of like spaceships and that kind of stuff. Loves lightsabers, but like the first thing he caught onto around like age 3 was like BB-8.
The droids. Yeah,
The
I don't
BB-8
know what it was,
R2-D2.
but I was like obsessed. Apparently, my mom was telling me actually recently. She's like, "You liked the R2-D2, like the blue and white, and then like the chrome yellow of the tall one." And I was like, "C-3PO." And she was like,
"All one,
whatever his name is." But yeah, we had to get you everything that we could. She's like, we couldn't afford a lot, but like the moment you saw one of them, you were like nuts, and you wouldn't let them go.
Oh my God, that's funny. It's like a kid in the 80s with like E.T. or something, or the Ewoks. The Ewoks was for my wife. It was the Ewoks because
I love Ewoks.
Yeah.
If I see a person dressed as an Ewok, I want to kidnap them
They're
or
probably
hunt
not.
them.
Probably not
I've
great
had
for
friends like
that's
tell me that I cannot steal this individual who is in the costume and can't take
Yeah.
them home.
solid advice
Yeah.
because of
Which
your
I
of
think
what
is
you do for a
completely
living.
rude. Like,
Uh-huh.
I would take great care of them. Like,
Right.
they wouldn't have to do anything, just
You
live
don't
in that suit.
like you don't know what you're missing. There you go.
How
I'll
dare
put
they?
put you in my Ewok pen in my basement. It's no big deal. Why would you
I
be?
can pet you.
Yeah, exactly. Have treats, give you like feet, like pellets, like a goat. Just there you go.
I would feed you.
Walks a
You could
couple
watch
of times
all
a
the TV
day.
you
Yeah.
wanted.
Brush you,
That's great.
that's a good Ewok. Oh my god.
Sounds like a good deal. Um, so knowing this love of droids and Ewoks,
Sounds
I
so
want to
bad.
ask about like droids and Ewoks. Like, did those movies stand out to you or shows? Like
So
the
I have
old
a
stuff or
funny
like
story about
uh,
how Ewoks stand out. So now that I'm older, I don't remember a lot of the stuff that, well, before, probably my 20s. I couldn't remember everything, but I remembered was it episode 7? No, six,
Yes.
where it was like on Endor, and I
Mhm.
could remember every single scene and details of the Ewoks, like when one of them had a glider and he threw like 3 rocks onto the stormtrooper. Like
Right.
I was
Ah!
detailing each thing that the Ewoks were doing, and my husband's like, I don't remember any of that, and I was like, trust me. And so he went back. I think it was him, but my friends have like looked at all of these things that I have, like even when like Yoda died, I was like, oh, I know that by the sound of like the exact like note that he dies. And they're like, how do you know all this? You like don't know anything. Like I call, okay, you guys are gonna laugh, but it's the thing that Luke drives. It's a flying moped table, but it's not.
The
It's
land speeder. The land
Landspeeder,
speeder.
yes, thank you.
Flying moped table. That's a first. That's the name of the episode.
It looks
By the
like
way.
that is
a
my
diner table to me.
new canon accepted nickname
Yeah.
for those.
So they
speeders.
had a drunken like telling of Star Wars, but I was the one telling them in my descriptive way. Yeah, there's like a video somewhere of me like explaining the flying moped table and how it looks like a diner table, and
I want to see this or have it recreated. This seems worthwhile
yeah, oh, I'm
evidence
sure.
to unearth for the rest of us.
But yeah, like I remember weird facts about each movie that people are like glancing over, like, oh, that's so minute, and like I have like in-depth analysis of like the Ewok. It's so weird.
That's
The
amazing.
Ewok, the
Just like
Ewok
core
cannibals. How do you think they
memories.
had that dress? How do you think they had that dress for Leia? Why did it fit perfectly? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. They've definitely eaten some humans. Uh, do you have is episode 6 Return of the Jedi, is that your favorite, or do you have another favorite Star Wars movie, game, show? Like, what's
Probably
definitive
6
for
is
you?
my
Yeah,
favorite.
Sam.
Fair.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have a favorite character specifically, or just
Max Rebo.
Ewoks? Max Rebo. Holy crap! You're just bringing out like the obscure.
Not even Sice Noodles. That's what most people would say. And that I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Just,
I'm also really excited. So you're gonna laugh, but at D23,
Three.
yeah, this
Three.
year,
Yeah.
or 3 or whatever it's called, D23. The new Jedi show, like with all the young ones.
Oh,
There's
Skeleton
like a
Crew.
Yes, a Max Rebo mini.
Oh
And I
yeah.
just watched him.
Oh my God. That's what your daughter's going to be dressed in. She'll
I
take her
just-
first steps in that outfit.
So we watched it with my husband, and all I could do is scream Max Rebo mini, and he's like, "It's not Max Rebo. Calm down." And I was like,
He
"He's gonna be
died.
blue
He
and
died.
he's
They all died in the when the
And
thing blew
Grogu
up.
is
So,
not Baby Yoda, but guess what? The
Oh.
name stuck. So
it's marketing, baby. People are
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
buying them. They're buying
Max
anything that'll
Rebo.
stick them on.
It's
mini,
Max Rebo
mini
mini."
Max. Mini
Mini
Max.
Will Mini Max be the next marketing explosion?
That is it. We
Possible.
need some Mini Max merch.
Explosion.
I'm starting the petition for that one right now. I
I'm
think,
into it.
Charlie, 92 episodes in, and that is our first ever Max Rebo as a favorite character.
I don't even know
Well,
that he's
as an
even
adult,
been discussed.
I will tell you Max Rebo is my favorite. But on a serious note, I think Ahsoka is one of the most
Yes.
the characters with the most growth and potential to expand. I also like the Mandalorian show, but he could be any Mandalorian. So
Right. You could put all three of them together and have a hell of a road trip. Think
right,
about it.
right,
Ma-
and then add in Bo-Katan.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
For the
Absolutely.
attitude. For Katie, for the
Katie
two.
Sackhoff is like just amazing.
Oh yes.
Pretty
Oh,
fantastic. I have absolutely no idea where you're going to go with this question because you've just completely went sideways with the first one.
I don't know if to take that as a compliment or to be nervous.
Compliment, absolutely. I mean it as a compliment.
Why
for
not?
sure. If
Yes.
you had force powers, would you lean to the light side or dark side? Or would you just be like, screw the force, I'm playing in the Max Rebo band?
Oh, it's Cantina. What's the? How does the Max Rebo?
I think I would be more good than evil, but I think I would be more like Ahsoka.
The Gray, Ahsoka the Gray, or the
Yeah,
White, or whatever.
yeah, I would be, or like Mace Windu, like.
Oh yeah.
Purple lightsaber, wallet that says "bad motherfucker."
I like her white lightsabers, but I like his teachings.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I get you. All right. Solid answer. Want to be good, but there's a little bit of that gray area. I think that's
I'm okay doing the
acceptable.
bad stuff for the good intentions.
Yeah. So
good thing on the bad foot. I like it.
With that answer, do you have a lightsaber color of choice? Would it be white? Would it be more purple? Or do you have a different favorite?
I love the white lightsaber, but my favorite lightsaber is Darth Talon's lightsaber.
Okay.
Is that a wacky hilt? I'm not as big on the minutiae.
So it looks like almost like a claw that comes out, and it's like very red, and it's got the red crystal is on the back end, and it comes out. It's almost like a tree trunk, not a trunk.
Isn't she a Twi'lek, but she wears a bikini? There we go.
She's like the Twi'lek.
I cosplay her. She's got like the markings all over her face,
right? Like Maul. Got it.
Yeah.
Without the horns and stuff.
Yeah. Badass. Good deep cut. You're throwing some characters that we have not heard as answers on the show.
I feel like you're like, who is this girl?
I don't know. I love it because if you ask my favorite lightsaber, I'm gonna give two answers. One is Gungi, the Wookiee Jedi, who showed up in a couple of episodes of Clone Wars, and then the Bad Batch kind of made a reappearance.
I haven't watched any of the Bad Batch, so I'm like,
oh, sorry for spoiling that a little bit.
No, it's good. It's good. I'm gonna watch it.
Without context, it doesn't mean much, but
yeah. And my other favorite is super deep cut from Legends, Tenel Ka, who was in the Young Jedi Academy books, trained with the twins from like Han and Leia's twins, and her first lightsaber, which was had a cracked, I think it was a cracked hilt or a cracked kyber crystal. It's been a long time since I read it. Exploded, blew her arm off. She did another one out of a Rancor tooth. And Luke was like, we can do a robot arm just like I have. And she was like, I don't need that crap. I'm going to fight with one arm. And she was just a badass with one arm fighting with a rebuilt lightsaber. Yeah, she was awesome.
Okay.
If she only would have had one leg, it could have been you could have made that ass kicking contest joke. But one arm.
So yeah, I respect the deep weird cuts as like favorite things because that's you're not going to get much weirder than those choices for like favorite lightsaber designs. Do you collect stuff at all? Like are you like God. Charlie? Do you have collections upon collections upon collections? And if so, do you have a favorite Star Wars collectible?
Oh my God. Ooh. So I had I do collect things. I collect G.I. Joe. I collect Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel, costume So my dread helmet is made by the guy who made Carl Urban's helmet for the movie.
Wow.
So like I have like weird collection stuff.
Wow.
So yes, my favorite Star Wars thing that I have are probably Darth Talon's lightsaber that I got custom made for me.
Nice.
And then I do like Rey's lightsaber and then Ahsoka's lightsabers. So, figure wise, I have a Bo-Katan and a Darth Talon.
Very cool.
Yeah, prop wise, probably just the lightsabers and my Leku that I painted for Darth Talon.
That's awesome. That's
amazing.
awesome. And I'll bet people check you out on Instagram. I bet those pictures are there. Yeah, you as Darth Talon.
Yes, I have Darth Talon pictures. Yeah,
Excellent. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Awesome. Again, I have absolutely no idea where you're going to go with this. Favorite affiliation. Now, this usually I frame this as like if you could hang out with one group in Star Wars for a day, who's it going to be? So you could choose
Like
Jedi, bounty hunters, Sith, rebels. Would you hang out with the Ewoks? A lot of time I choose Wookiees. Would it be the Max Rebo band? Who are you hanging out with if you could spend like a day or a week or something like that just chilling with a group in Star Wars?
I would probably be an assassin. And I would probably dress up with, like, I would probably hang out with the Mandos in a secret bar underground.
Nice.
All right.
All the best bars are underground. Keeps things cool, especially in those outfits. That's quite warm.
I did
It's
not.
very specific, isn't it, Mark?
I did not predict the assassin angle for that. I thought you were going to go with something way more chill after.
What did you think I was going to do?
Ewoks and
I
Max
thought
Rebo.
it was going to be Ewoks or Max Rebo just hanging out in a bar, just chilling and having fun.
Right.
And then you're just like,
I mean,
okay,
Max Rebo could be playing in the bar, but I would like to drink with a Mando. I'm a big drinker, so.
Okay. All right. I get it.
As a Canuck, I have to
I was going
drink.
to say, isn't that a Canadian thing? I hate to stereotype it. I'm Irish, but I'm an American. And
Yeah, Canadians and beer and
yeah.
I'm of Greek heritage, so we drink a lot. So drinking is my DNA.
It's pooled in vodka and the DNA. I know.
It's all of it.
That is it. Last get to know you question. This is a
That's
favorite
it?
of
Just
a lot
these?
of people.
Wow, okay.
That's it. This is the last one that we ask, and it's basically themed around Star Wars being all about constant suffering, tragedy, cool laser swords, awesome bands and helmets, and killer ponchos. But basically just suffering and tragedy. If you were in the Star Wars universe, what hilarious and haphazard way would you probably perish?
That's so weird. What a weird.
I'll tell you what we could do to clarify. We could tell you ours. Mine would be some kind of romantic misunderstanding with a Wookiee somehow. And then Mark's, yours would be, you tell it. It's better when you do
I would absolutely, without a doubt, like the wrong animal.
and it would eat him.
No doubt, like I'd see a Rancor or some kind of like fire demon Hellcat on an explored planet and be like, oh my God, you're adorable. Come here. And it'd just eat me alive.
What? Okay.
100%.
Mine would probably be a drinking contest.
My wife's laughing and she's in the other room. She's like, you're not wrong at all. She knows exactly because like any wild animal, I'm like, come here. She's roaring behind me.
So a drinking contest maybe in that same bar with Max Rebo and the
Yes, I'd probably like try and go up to Max Rebo and like be like, should I just kiss you? You're so cute. And then like his wife or whatever would be like, and like bite my head off or face, whatever.
Come out of the shadows with a big blade and just
Drinking contest against a Trandoshan.
I have no idea. It's something.
All right.
Eat me.
Yeah.
Cy Snoodles. Is he married to Cy Snoodles? Because she's the one with the big lippy thing. Maybe she's jealous.
I don't know if she's married. He's married to that.
Yeah. Can mess you up.
Either that or like this is not safe for work, but like probably some like weird Mando rough thing.
You see what I mean? I'd get squirreled in with some alien sex thing, and it'd be all over. I mean,
Right?
sorry.
Like I'd be like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
But
Mando is into like some green girl, and she like flips out and like
right.
poisons my drink at the bar the next day with him.
I mean, I just as soon get blown up in the bar with Jennifer Beals' character from
Right?
what was it
Oh,
called?
Madame
Holy
Garza.
shit.
not a bad way to go. Not a bad way to
Oh,
go.
there's a woman
I
who
I
has
just
never
made
aged.
her
My God.
costume for the cruise.
Ooh, oh, that's
Cool.
right. You did. I think I recall.
I was
Yeah.
Madame Garza on the sci-fi night.
Very nice.
Very cool.
Good deal. Good
So
Yeah,
you
my
wait,
husband's like,
you
you look kind of like her, and you
Kinda
have
look
big
like her.
tatas.
you brought a Star Wars cosplay to a Star Trek cruise?
April and I also
That's
did
my new
so.
favorite thing.
Yeah,
Charlie, did your head
April, yeah.
explode?
And we did it
I
too.
know it's a
We did
sci-fi
Han,
night, but they had a free
Okay,
night.
okay.
So
Free
we
night,
could do
yeah.
that.
All
Yeah.
right.
April,
Okay,
April
all
and I did Han and Leia one night, and another night
Yes.
we did Cap and Peggy another night. So yeah,
Oh,
Okay. All right.
you're so romantic.
That's fantastic.
it's in the blood. What can I say?
Did you ask them to play the song, Charlie? The I forgot what the song's called. Like the end game, like the end of that. Like, did you
I
you
should
request
have,
that?
and I could all pose
Should have.
all dramatically
Yeah. Get like a little video of you guys dancing next time.
next time.
There you go. Just like that closing shot at Endgame.
Oh yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for the getting to know you. I had no idea where you're going with any of those answers, so I love that. Some people, it's like Sith all the way down, and you just know exactly what they're going to pick.
And they're like, I love the prequels, and we're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there's not a single second that I knew what you were going to say with any of those. So it's a good. This is the first time Max Rebo just that floored me.
Yeah, that's the
very
Ewok
happy
thing.
with that.
I won't say it's more common, but Max Rebo, that's a step beyond. That's a bridge way far. So that was awesome.
And like we've had Ahsoka before. I just grabbed the Ahsoka book. I'm putting that in my beach bag for the week.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's like right next to me. So like that answer, great as well. But like Max Rebo just being thrown out, I'm very happy today.
He's like my favorite character.
And again, you mentioned the Skeleton Crew trailer. Let's jump right into the news because we got a ton of stuff that we're going to talk about from D23. We already kind of mentioned it. So let's jump in. But the first thing, before we get to any of the D23 stuff, I just want to mention, and Charlie, you can glaze over for like 3 minutes right now because I'm going to geek out about a video game. And I know that's just, you're just,
okay.
you can leave. It's okay. I won't be offended.
I'll be all right.
But season 2 of Star Wars Hunters just started. If you're not familiar, Star Wars Hunters is the competitive online game where you're teams of 4 playing with other people, going up against another team of 4 in various different kinds of matches. I'm not going to bore you with all the details because if you want to listen to it, we just talked about it on co-op mode.
There you go.
Head over there
Awesome.
and listen to the whole breakdown that I give of the game. But I'm very excited because a new hunter just got added. So we've had Mandalorians, we've had other bounty hunters, a stormtrooper, a Wookiee, all that kind of stuff. The Wookiee in this game, his name is Groz, fights with 2 droid arms as like clubs. The new character is a KX series droid who is missing her arms. Guess who has them?
A call to arms. Look,
Yeah,
there they are.
She has replaced her arms with 2 massive shields and a shoulder-mounted gun. Her name is Chaos. She is a sassy pants KX
my ex-wife,
droid.
Chaos.
I freaking love her. She's amazing. She's just as sassy as K2 from Rogue One. She also has the backhand as a special attack move. It's delightful, and she's just full of attitude, and I'm very happy with like the little meta story that they added of just like because Groz was one of the first characters that you see, and you see him fighting with these droid arms, and for me, I just kind of was like, oh, cool, Wookiees rip your arms off. He's not going to be fighting with like human arms or something because that'd be a little gruesome for a Nintendo Switch game.
Ouch.
But I thought, the droid arms, nice little Wookiee reference of like, tear the arms off. To have the character in the game that he took the arms from, just delightful. And she's got
That's
it out.
stone cold. That's cold.
It's great. It's great. So if you haven't played the game and you're a fan of online shooters or Star Wars or any of the above, feel free to add me. Go into Discord. We can play some matches together. But check out the new Hunter Chaos. She is great, and I kind of want to rewatch Rogue One just for K2.
Always a good reason to do it.
Sassiness, exactly. Okay, video games out of the way. Actually, first, Joe, do you play video games at all?
I do not, but
Okay.
I do sit with my husband at times, and like if he's like doing like a find and seek portion, I'm like, look here, look there, like go here.
Oh,
like,
so you're a guide, right?
Yeah. Has your husband
brain teasers for fun when I was like a kid, like a insane person.
Has your husband dabbled in this game at all, or is he a different sort
right
of
now he is working through Baldur's Gate. He's a bit behind, but he's got a stack of games that he's going to start working through, but I will ask him.
I think that's just gamer life, is the back catalog. I think that's just part of it. It's just
probably constant.
That's how they get you.
I have enough. Like if I added video games to my life, I think I would probably
it can be a task for sure. All right. With that stuff out of the way, let's get into D23 because a lot of stuff was announced this past weekend. We just got a ton of stuff. So let's put aside the Star Wars things for now. You guys have looked over the list of announcements. What non-Star Wars stuff caught your eye?
Joe, you go ahead. I mean, we went through it all on SFU, which will be out by the time you listen to this. So, the Marvel stuff. We're getting what more Marvel stuff did we get? I might be talking out two sides of my mouth. I'll let Joe go. Please go ahead.
So the things that got me was Agatha.
Yes, thank you very much.
Great trailer.
Like so I remember her. That actress, I forget her name.
Catherine Hahn.
Yes. She was on a doctor, like a procedural, like crime solve thing show way back in the day. Like, I was probably in my late teens. So I love that I've seen her get a role now where she is like the protagonist because she was quirky, funny, great back then. And I was like, man, I hope she makes it. And it's so nice to see her make it.
Yeah.
Villains Land in Disney is like mind-blowing. And also like I've always wanted something like that since I was a kid. Granted, I only recently, like last December, went to Disney in Florida for the first time ever. And like, I need to go back.
We did that right after the cruise. We got off the cruise ship and we went to Disney.
Yes, you guys were telling me that. Yes.
And then Mark is going with his family to Disney next April, and April and I are going to go and do that. And then we will, and then we're going to drive up to my mom. So then I'll probably see you.
Oh yes, that would be lovely.
Awesome. Yes, indeed. Yes. So it's going to be that's our vacation plans for next year. But will this Villains Land? Will this be open by the time we're there? And not that?
No.
Yeah.
It's going to cost like I think it was like $1 billion or 13 billion, something insane. The whole project, not just the Villains Land, but like the Encanto and like the other stuff that they're building out. Like the whole expansion is going to be like 13 billion. I had heard a number today, like the cars.
I'm trying to skim through this link that we have. I'm looking for a dollar sign. I don't see one, but wow, that's crazy.
Really, of particular interest to you, they're reframing the dinosaur ride in Animal Kingdom as an Indiana Jones ride, which some people are up in arms about. Some people have that big nostalgia for the dinosaur ride.
Let's be serious, okay? For a second. It's a great one-time thing to see the Indiana Jones. They could do better. It's Disney.
Well, You know, the proof is in the pudding with Indiana Jones. He destroyed my movie bracket last summer. Like, I bet
Mm.
on that movie as number one, and I came in third out of
Oof.
three in our group.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I've always loved Indiana Jones, but he hurt
Same.
me. He hurt me real bad with that movie, just in my soul, and then for bragging rights in the movie league that I have.
So it was a good movie. It wasn't like it didn't beat any of the other
Oh,
ones.
of
It
course not.
wasn't the
Yeah,
worst one out of the franchise.
right,
Fair.
But
right.
like in terms of like rides and it makes sense to move it to Animal Kingdom, but also like update it. Like, okay,
Right.
this giant ball chases him, which you're gonna see, which is cool. Like all the
Sure.
special effects is great. Like the thing that they do at Disney for the Indiana Jones thing is great, but like you can update this. You can make
Yeah.
it better. Like you can keep this, all of that, but you can make a ride and
Mhm.
or
It's
make
gonna
something
be a ride. It's
interactive.
replacing dinosaurs, so it's a full track
Right.
ride.
So do you get to
Um,
be, or do you get to be the ball? Like, you kind of metaphorically, you can be on a ball that's chasing
I
I
don't know if
around.
you
don't
get to be the ball.
I don't know.
Be the
I
ball.
don't know how. I don't know if they're duplicating the one from California Adventure, um, which could be like I don't think the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular is going anywhere. That's still going to be in Hollywood Studios. So this is going to be like a
Yeah.
separate
Oh,
indie attraction in a different land. So
I
it's going to be
found
different.
it.
I like the
Yeah.
dinosaur ride. So like that's a thrilling ride, and the car kind of is pretty shaky and stuff. It's going to be weird for that one to be not in Animal Kingdom because I've been on that one a couple of times.
Yeah.
Um, my it's weird, but like we've already mentioned a couple of great things. So I'm going to pick as one of my favorites, just the Pirates of the Caribbean themed tavern
Yes!
announced for the
Oh my
Magic
god, that's
Kingdom.
gonna be so freaking
Wow.
cool.
So good.
Nice.
So good. But there's stuff in every single Disney
Yeah.
park. Like they have announced things for, like we've already a lot of the stuff we've mentioned, like the Villains Land, all that kind of stuff, is all Florida for Disneyland. Like
Apparently
Avatar's
Walt Disney
coming.
wanted to do a Villains Land like when he was still alive.
Wow.
Wow,
Hmm.
The dream
yes,
realized.
this has been a
Yeah, this
long,
is
long
crazy. So yeah, Joe had dropped in our little text block here that, yeah, 17 billion. But that's over 20 years. So, kind of stretching that out. They can make
time.
money as they go.
Yeah.
But yeah, an additional 17,000 acres of land within the park, which, hey, April and I rode the tram around. We love riding the tram around because it was just the two of us, and we were mostly alone on the trams. Mark, I've told the story.
Mm.
At one point on the tram, this husband and wife and their two tween daughters got on, and they hated each other, and it was hilarious to watch. Sorry, I know that's something that single people say. Uh,
For California Adventure, Avengers Campus is like doubling in
Yes.
size and getting two new
Ooh,
attractions, which is going to be
Yes.
awesome.
We're also getting a Mando bar as well.
what?
What? I
Yeah.
missed that one. Oh, that's
Are
got to
they
be
Yeah.
fun.
telling
I
you?
think I don't know where it's gonna go, which park, but yeah, I heard it was gonna be like a Mando thing.
Oh,
Which is
nice.
so
That's
cool.
great.
How exciting.
Yeah,
So
fantastic.
Disney is like, big picture, they're doubling down. They know that the parks make money. They lost a
Mhm.
bunch of money last year at the movies, so they're reinvesting in doing this, and they're going to make their money. People are going to go spend dollars here. We're all going to go spend money there. So
Yeah.
yeah, and we'll spend more than we would going to see if Marvel has another rebuilding phase, which we hope they don't, because that was the other thing obviously that came out of this. Agatha, more snippets from the Fantastic Four,
Daredevil.
which is going to be the movie of the summer for me next year, because I've always loved the Fantastic Four, so I'm super fired up about that. But yeah,
Mhm.
1-2 punch.
Yeah.
1-2 punch.
More
But
Daredevil announcements of
yes,
the next What If featuring who's it? Shuri, Moon Knight,
yes,
and someone else
they
I'm
had
missing.
played a clip, because it was funny. Tad and I were talking about that. That came out. Talk about how quickly we forget about stuff. That whole second season of What If all came out around the holidays. Like they
Mm.
played it for like 10 days in a row. But I said to him as we were recording, I'm like, when did that come out? Was that like 18 months ago? There's so much content, you just forget when stuff comes out. You know what I
Yeah.
It's,
mean?
it's
Some
But
of it wasn't good content either. Like it was just like stuff to throw out. Like
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
we live in a world of a whole lot of content, of
Yeah.
Netflix movies that my wife loves, and I'm like, can't we get rid of Netflix? No, but I really love all the original programming. I don't know. What are you
Right.
gonna do?
there's
What are
always
you
that
gonna do?
one thing that gets you.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
let's jump into some of the Star Wars related stuff that was announced.
Yes.
I'm just going to go through this list and I'll get our reactions, hype levels, all that kind of stuff for each one. Starting off with something that Joe, you already mentioned, the Skeleton Crew trailer. This one was highly
Yes.
anticipated. We've gotten like little like Lego kit leaks. They finally gave like the first teaser images a few days before this, like official images, but we finally got a trailer.
Yes.
What were your
I did
trailer
not
reactions?
expect Jude Law to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, he was announced right when this rolled out. So he was
Yeah.
always like, and it's helmed by Jude Law, but it's like,
Mm-hmm.
kids in space. It's like kind of an ambient entertainment, like an ET kind of vibe. But
Yeah, I was like, what
yeah,
is he doing? Is he like narrating? Like, and then I'm like, he's
yeah.
like in it.
Jedi,
And he's
former
a
Jedi.
force dude. But yeah, this is young kid, so it's kind of like, like Star Trek Prodigy, which is a great Star Trek animated show on Netflix if you haven't seen it.
Do you think
But
they saw what Prodigy was doing and was like, we need something like this?
I mean, it's possible, but it's also not exactly it's also a well-worn concept,
Right.
like kids and stuff. And again, get ready for all the people saying, "Oh, you're ruining my Star Wars." This is a Star Wars that's literally meant for children, starring children.
Yeah, yeah. It's the Goonies in space.
It's the Goonies in space, which yeah,
I actually really
we
like
were,
the trailer. Like the
yeah,
trailer
no,
had like
Yeah.
action, like not expect that for children.
Star Wars suburbs for like the
yes,
first time. Like it
that's
was
what I was talking. That's what
a
Action and I were
little
talking about. I
shot.
said the Star Wars like school bus going by and like a couple of sedans going by, and they're walking down the sidewalk. I'm like, they have houses and sidewalks and like whatever Star Wars planet that was. It
Yeah,
just looks super normal, but it's like, yeah, it's like ET. This is like ET marries Star Wars and does the Goonies. And Star Trek Prodigy. So they steal a ship or whatever. It's that kind of deal.
yeah,
But yeah, it's a gear shift for something lighter because we've had Mando and Ahsoka, and the Acolyte was very, very Acolyte. I always say it wrong. The Acolyte was very heavy, where this is like, it just, you got your mini Max Rebo in this deal. What could go awry? It's good stuff. It's good
yeah.
stuff. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's I am so pumped for this. You tell me there's Goonies anywhere, let alone Goonies mixed with Star Wars.
Right.
I am so in.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, it looks awesome. I'm trying to think of the actor's name. Who's playing? They announced he's playing a droid, and he's like a pirate droid with one leg. Simon. He's
Darr.
always with Simon Pegg. Nick Frost.
Nick Frost. Yeah. That's the guy who's always
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So he's going to be playing. Like I think you saw him in the clip. One of his eyes doesn't work, and he has a peg leg.
Yes.
The pirates are all back from the last season of Mando. Like it looks. It's
Oh,
the same time period.
the mossy pirate guy. Those weren't they all mossy? Or the main guy was. He was like Swamp
The
Thing.
main guy was. I don't know if
Yeah.
he's going to be back, but like some of the others
Yeah,
that were in his crew are back in this one.
nice. So this
I'm
is very contemporaneous with Mando. This is New Republic.
yeah,
5-6 years after Jedi.
yeah,
That's that's the space we should be playing in. That's good. Keep it out of
yeah,
like, let's do another prequel. I just don't really want to deal with it anymore. So that's good.
yeah,
Move it forward. I like
yeah.
it.
So when the kids say they found an ancient Jedi temple, like is this from like Clone Wars era ancient Jedi, or is this like High Republic ancient? Like what?
Right.
I'm really curious to how long that thing's been untouched. So I'm very very excited for the show,
Yeah.
and it's dropping this fall, winter-ish, fall, December.
December 3rd. I'll
Third?
put it on our calendar.
Yes.
Fantastic. Uh, moving, Charlie, you mentioned a lot of the Star Wars shows have been super serious, and I don't think there's been one that's been as serious as Andor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's
And
Season
season.
2,
and has really paid off. Yeah.
they've announced that like there's going to be time jumps. It's a
Right.
time jump from the first season, but also every couple of
Every episode.
episodes is a year, and it takes place over
Right.
several years, leading directly into Rogue One.
Right.
Where are your
Right.
hype levels for this one, Joe?
I enjoyed, well, so it was a very like slow burn, but it
True.
almost like it was a very good spy
Mhm.
show. which I enjoyed and I respected, but it was a little too slow in the beginning. Like
Yeah,
you couldn't
that's
grab
true.
everybody. But I'm been looking forward to this season. So hopefully they have a little bit more intensity and
Mm,
a little bit more like closer to the fight, basically,
yes.
instead
Yeah,
of more the less the political, more of the actual like the intrigue and
right.
the actual
Yeah.
war.
Right. Well, it seems like they'd
I
have to move pretty fast if it's going to be a year's jump between episodes
yes.
or
Yeah,
every couple episodes. That they're not going to be like, well, let this thing linger because it wouldn't make any sense to be like it's a year later and we still did get this thing figured out. Or
Yeah.
you'll set up something that happened 2 years ago in the show's timeline that jumps forward that it's a payoff of some kind or some
Mhm.
kind of interstitial flashback. So, but yeah, this was the show that even when I watched it, I remember they rolled out the first 3 episodes on the first night because they were all nothing happened in the first three. It was very slow, and it was like,
Yeah.
boy, if they were to roll these out one at a time, they wouldn't have had any hope of hanging on to anybody because a lot of people were like, I know both John and Todd on our team were both like, well, I stopped it and started it and I went back to it. But boy, once you get past that first half, it's just white knuckling. You just can't turn it off. It's the best Star Wars I've seen perhaps ever. What was the statement from those guys?
Yeah.
And they're pretty tough critics. So yeah, this could be the biggest and most exciting thing. And I would imagine we're gonna get this not long after Skeleton Key wraps up, which will be probably February. So this could be March, April, maybe of
Mhm.
next year that this drops.
Yeah,
That'd
I
be
hope so.
my vibology on
I
that
hope they
one.
don't. Yeah, I hope they don't wait too long because it's a very different. Like they could really drop this almost simultaneous with Skeleton Crew, and like you're gonna get that Star Wars diehard that's gonna watch everything. But like these are two very different like segments of people that they're targeting with these shows. So aside from
Yeah,
Star Wars, there's like nothing in common with these two. Like
right.
so like I'm hoping they drop it a little bit quick, in concurrent with with Skeleton Crew
Right.
because yeah, I really think it could fit there, and I agree, Charlie. I think because of how it's set up with those time jumps, I think you're right. I think it's going to move along a little bit faster
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Have to.
I've said numerous times on the show that if we didn't have this show, I would have just sat on that one until it all dropped and I could binge it in a weekend because I
Yeah.
wanted to piece out from like one or two episodes in and just be like,
Right. It's
I'm
just
just gonna
slow.
wait till I can just watch it all because it was so slow
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
watching it week to week, it was like, what the hell happened last week? I kind of fell asleep halfway through.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
then it kind of like it paid off in the end, but it was like, I wish I could have just watched this in a weekend and been over with it. And I thought the same thing, honestly, like, I mean, jumping ahead for another episode, but I thought kind of similar things about Acolyte, but we'll talk about that later.
Yes.
We're going to save that. Moving on, we got Mandalorian and Grogu has started filming. They showed a tease. I don't know if you guys saw the teases before they took it down. I did. The tease featured
Oh,
Zeb. It looked great. There was a few like
I heard. Yeah, I heard.
flashbacks from the show, a few new things. Kind of looked like they had the Razor Crest back, but I don't know if that was like a flash
That's
something else.
that's what they're saying that it's back. But yeah, if it's just a flashback, that would be a drag. So I hope it's back for good. Because yeah, I am just not a fan of Mando in the N1. I'm like, he's the Dadalorian. He's the station wagon. He can't have the Miata. You know what I'm
That's
saying? He's got to have the jammer. So yeah.
That's it. So as a movie, as a hopefully kind of bigger spectacle, what are your hype levels on this one? Joe, how you feel? You mentioned before that you liked watching The Mandalorian. Do you
Mhm.
think they need a movie? Where are you at?
uh it depends on the story.
Oh,
Like
sure, yeah.
like if the story is like just you know how they did like they're doing Toy Story 5, like why you've
I know.
ended it
Yeah.
so many. As a person who's new to that franchise, I'm like, you've done it, like you did 3 and then 4 and now 5. Like just stop. I know, like
Yeah.
you keep going to the well and draining that effing well.
Well, yeah, it
That
was.
horse is dead. You
Yeah,
resurrected it. You beat it to death again. Like
you've got the glue. You're trying to turn the glue into a
right.
horse. Yeah,
Right. But it has to be a good story and it has to make sense in what you've already created. Like you
yeah,
have your like gold, right? You've made a great show of The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian now can be anybody, right? It could switch to Bo-Katan. It could
right.
switch to like the Mandalorian, the armor. Like it could do anything, right? Because it's not just about
Add an S
like
to the end of the name of the show, and it just becomes about
right.
any of them or
Right.
all of them,
But
right? Like,
that plot, that story has to be meaning. It has to make sense why you're making a movie. You can't just be like, oh, because everybody loves Grogu, right?
Right.
Like that was great for like 3 seasons.
Right.
But now like you're gonna stick him in a movie. If it flops, you've just ruined the gold you made.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
If it makes sense, you can then do a spin-off and have other stories with him. But if it doesn't make sense and you're just doing it to make money, because people aren't stupid anymore, they won't accept just to make a movie for a movie.
Right. Yeah.
To
Thus,
have a story.
the box office last
This is
year.
what
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy doesn't understand. You don't have to dumb it down for anybody. You just have to have a good story. Like Ahsoka was a great story. The Mando was a great story. You know, Acolyte, not so much, right? Like, just, as a woman, no.
I have some theories about where this story might go, and again, we don't really know much. It just started filming, but the teaser did say a couple of things. One, Mando said something about being way more picky with the jobs that he chooses now that he's a dad, and two, it showed Zeb flying with Mando. I think this is going to be leading up directly to the Thrawn movie, and Mando is being tasked with picking up Ahsoka and Sabine from that other universe galaxy, and that's like Thrawn's coming back.
That's a good story, right?
Like
that would make sense, and it would be a good story for Mando, and it fits Mando's like the last, like the leading up and how his character has evolved and changed, right? But if it's like he meets up with the guy in the cantina and he's going to be more choosy about the jobs, and it's like this job, that job, this job, and it's like it's loosely like whatever, and then all of a sudden like 50 like they've got 50 like characters that come in and out of the story, and you're like, great to see Ahsoka, but like there's nothing happening, and like, oh, all of a sudden they're on a ship and they're fine, like like everything that's tied in a bow and like perfect and yay, like that's not gonna work.
Yeah, right.
No, I think this is going to be bigger overarching story tie-ins. That's going to directly lead into like the Thrawn movie, that kind of
they do it well.
Yeah,
Ahsoka season 2.
Guess what? They hope so too. Because
I think
they do like that fat cash over there at the. Well, they need $17 billion, don't they? Don't they, Joe?
Yeah.
Ellie, what about you? What's her name that directed Acolyte? Just don't get her.
Yeah. Oh, she definitely does have some folks who aren't crazy about it. That is true.
As Charlie a woman, wow.
How's your hype level for this one, Charlie?
This is, you know what, I'm excited, but I'm fearful for I mean, Joe really hit it on the head, because it can turn into, look, it's Baby Yoda, and he's in there. Yeah, exactly. He's Garfield hanging from the back window of your car. You know, he's doing a bunch of cutesy poo shit, and it just doesn't.
Don't get me wrong, I like. However,
right. And Joe, much like you, April is all about every cutesy poo Star Wars thing. In her office, it's all like our adult son figured out that she loved Grogu early on, so she owns 50,000 Grogu things that he would pick up here and there, all over her office. But she loves all the Ewoks, and then she was crazy about Dio, the little droid in the last Star Wars movie, and she loved Babu Frick. I found her a big pop of that. So it's like she likes all the cutesy poo shit, but you can't have cutesy poo the Star Wars movie, because there'll be anarchy in the streets and the world will explode. It's too much. You're right. You got to pair it up with what Mark said. Okay, Mando is now the glue that's got to put together all the bits so that we can assemble. We can get the Avengers together to take on Thrawn. That's where he's going to be at. Yeah. So if it's what Mark says, yes. If it's cutesy poo the movie, we're all screwed. Like the world will burn. Just watch out.
This could be like assembly. It could be, Mando finding other Mandalorians, finding Luke, finding Zeb, the other ghost crew that are remaining in this universe, galaxy, whatever. And they're gonna, go back and get Ahsoka and Sabine. I'm curious to see where they go with it. We've got no shortage of other Mando stuff, including stuff that dropped today in Fortnite. Moff Gideon in his full like Darth Mando armor, and
Darth Vader.
IG-11 with an adorable Grogu backpack where Grogu has his little blue cookies and eats them until he throws up.
Aw. Aw. So charming.
They added that animation to the game. It's great. But we also have Smuggler's Run ride refresh, going back to talking about Disney attraction stuff, featuring the Mandalorian Grogu that's going to launch around the same time as the movie. How do you guys feel about the mix up with that ride? Like that ride just kind of launched in 2019 and they're ready to change in some new stories.
That's kind of crazy. I told you when I was at Disney, that was the one that we rode it early on, and then we ran right back at the end and did it one more time.
Yeah.
That does seem like a big change, like dollars and cents wise. But hey, if they're throwing $17 billion around, they're gonna do something. I guess they can afford it. What happens to the old
Well,
one?
the two rides that they have now, right, are really great. So, like, if you've got that, and then you look back and you're like, 2019 isn't that far back.
Yeah.
But they've done this.
Right.
It requires an upgrade. Like, you can't just be, oh, here's this.
Yeah. Here's this thing.
Right?
And it also sounds like
Star Tours, 40 years of Star
well,
Tours.
and it sounds like it's going to be Star Tours. So if you ride Star Tours 5 times in a row, you can get a different story each time you ride it.
Right.
It sounds like they could do the same thing in Smuggler's Run, where sometimes it's the one that you get right now, and sometimes it could be this Mandalorian Grogu story. I'm really wondering if they're going to have different days or different times of the day that Galaxy's Edge changes timelines.
Yeah.
Because we've already seen that, and they're very specific with it because you're supposed to be kind of like almost casual cosplaying in this. Like it's a real world, right? Like you're in Star Wars. It's not a theme park. So they're really, really particular with what timeline it goes in between episode. Go ahead. Yeah, you can. That's all right.
There you go.
I'll just I'm going to mark this as 56 minutes.
We just pause it a sec.
Oh, that's fine.
Whatever works for you. Boy, it sucks to be sick while you're traveling. Oh my god.
Oh man, it's brutal.
That's rough. We're almost done anyway. That's good news.
Yeah. Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
All right. She lives.
So they're really particular with in between episodes 7 and 8 is when usually the Galaxy's Edge timeline takes place, but they've been mixing in more Mandalorian timeline. They have Mandalorian and Grogu. They have Fennec Shan. They have Boba Fett. Of this crew has visited Batuu before. I'm really wondering if they're going to start shifting Galaxy's Edge to more of that timeline, which could then bring in Luke, Han, Leia, any of the Ghost Crew characters, all of these characters as more things than just Rey and Kylo.
Well, I mean, that's the past versus where they're focusing on now, which is everything you just described. And by focusing on things that are on TV now, you generate more, I think, compatibility with the audiences walking through. And it's more of draw, I would say.
And I wonder if it's going to be almost like Monday, it's going to be sequels era. Tuesday, it's going to be Mando era. Wednesday, it's going to be sequels. Thursday, it's going to be Mando. They could actually do days that what timeline you're going to be in. So if you visit Galaxy's Edge on a Wednesday, you're going to run into Rey. If you visit on a Thursday, you're going to run into Boba Fett. They could actually kind of start theming it.
They're going to expand Galaxy's Edge. Right? They're going to expand that park, right? So you could be going through what is now Galaxy's Edge and then go into the original movies and then veer left and then go into Rey and that series and then go into the Old Republic and New Republic because they have hundreds of acres of land left, thousands.
They got plenty of swamp they could fill in. They're going to be just fine.
Yeah, for sure.
They can make this planet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. They yeah, I mean there's no shortage of stuff that they could do, and like having it as, even if they just kept it as Batu, like Batu's existed for a long time. It's a planet, it's a city that could have existed through High Republic or whatever. So you're right. They could shift it from region or from day to day or hour to hour or whatever. And they've done that before. They do that now where like the timeline will shift. So you're in one part and it's Mando and Grogu, and then you're another part and it's Rey, and they're like those two characters never interact and they're always the
Yeah.
opposite ends of the park. So if they expanded, you're right, like they could have 3 or 4 different timelines happening in different parts of the park.
And it also,
I'm
like
excited to see.
when you go from one part into the next part, it's a definitive switch. So you're already
Yeah.
like immersed, and
Right.
like it's almost like a doorway into the next whatever timeline you're in,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So like things look a tad different. It looks more like the movies in that time frame. It looked like the character costumes look different. So you're immersed, and you immediately like you're like, oh, I'm not in the Mando section anymore. I'm in
Right.
like like the original trilogy where the droids look very different, very like primitive as to what we're
Right.
now used to seeing. Leia looks very different than what like Rey would look like, and then in Rey's section you can have like the older Leia, which never interacts
Right.
with the
Right.
original trilogy Leia, right?
Your suspension of disbelief, your
Yeah,
invisible
because
walls.
like you walk through this walkway where it's like either a rainforest, and then you're into that like whatever scene you can make that you can like connect the movies, but then like when you go through that like interchange that section, you
Mhm.
immediately know you're like not in that anymore. Like if you're doing like Hoth, and then you're changing from Hoth into where the Rey saved the last of the rebels, where she moved the rocks or whatever,
Right.
whatever
Yeah.
that planet was.
It's a
It's
crate.
still ice, right? It's
Yeah.
still snow,
Yeah.
but you're definitely in a different time frame and a
Right.
different timeline. So, like, they could do
Yeah.
something like that.
They can do it. Yeah. Just to do it with Disney magic.
Yeah, yeah.
Make it happen.
Exactly. Lots of
Go
stuff
through
on
the
the
cave and
horizon.
then be out with Ray like waiting for you, and then you go into another area where it's a cargo hold, and like there's all
Right.
the holes, and like the older Leia, and she's holding like the dice, and like
Right.
That'd be so awesome.
Right. I love it.
See that?
Sweet.
Excellent. Well, this was a great chat. Like I said, we're going to save the Acolyte for another time. So for now, Joe, thank you so much for joining us. This was awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Please tell people where they can follow you and see all your awesome stuff.
Okay, so on Instagram, first of all, thank you guys for having me. This is like great. I'm loving coming on the on Charlie has like been trying to get me onto these.
It's only been like 5 years, but that's okay.
So thank you very much for having me. But you guys can find me on Instagram at JoeColtonCosplay, and Facebook JoeColtonCosplay, X or Twitter, whatever it's called today, is like JColtonCosplay, and then TikTok is JoeColtonCosplay.
Awesome. Okay. And like I said, those will be linked in the show notes, so you can click and just follow along. You don't have to remember each one of those. Thank you again for joining us. Charlie, where can people find you?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm over on Instagram and Threads at the C3, TheCeeThree. I spend a lot of time knocking around in our Secret Friends Unite Discord, friendliest Discord in all of Discords. Don't look it up. April and I also do have a little side Discord called the United Trekkers of Michigan. If you're a Trek fan, I don't care where you live, and you just want to talk about Trek, that is the place for you. Mark, what about you?
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Threads as Canardian_Jedi, and I don't hang out on X anymore, so I'm not even gonna bother with that one. But in our Discord,
whatever, like same thing.
Yeah, very good.
Our Discord's a great place to get me, especially again if you want to play Star Wars Hunters. Hit me up. I'm always looking for a good team.
So I'm gonna tell my husband about this, just so you know, because he's a huge gamer. So awesome. I'm gonna be like, Mark, likes this. You need to try
Yes.
this, Max.
If
Yeah,
he's
right.
into it, yeah, tell him
Drive
to
him
hit me
over.
up for sure.
Drive him over to our
We will get a
Discord.
match going.
That's where we're digging on people.
He's
Well,
really
awesome.
We're into D&D right now, so he's like solely focused on that.
We got that starting in our chapter 2 D&D. We had one of our people that just scheduled a D&D night, and she built me a character. So I'm like, all right, I'll go. That sounds fine. Why not? All right. Well, that's the show, gang. Thanks for joining us. And as always, I say, sharing is caring, and keep on trucking.
May the force be with you. Rex, play us out.
Max Rebo is the best. What's his song? Max Rebo.
I love you.